Lord came as Krishna, so we see that how Krishna in the battlefield, although so many people who were fighting against the Pandavas, but even when they were killed in the battlefield, even they were delivered by the mercy of the Lord. So we see even Krishna is so merciful when he comes as a Lord. But still in general, we see in life of Krishna, although there are some pastimes where Krishna is very extremely merciful. We hear that how when Sukdev Goswami, just after his birth, he starts going towards the forest. And then seeing that Vyasdev following him behind, and then Vyasdev approaches him. But then he was not stopping. So then Vyasdev thought what to do. My son just after the birth, he is just going into the forest. So then he sends two of his disciples and he tells them to recite the verses from Bhagavatam. So when Sukdev Goswami was in forest, so that time he heard two verses from these disciples of Srila Vyasdev. One verse was glorifying the beauty of the Lord, another verse was glorifying the compassion of the Lord. So when he heard this verse, Aho Bhakiyam Istana Kalakutam, that how Krishna is so merciful, he delivered a Putana who came with a desire to kill the Lord. So just imagine to what extent Lord is merciful. So hearing that, Sukdev Goswami, he was surprised that how can Lord be so merciful? I want to know more about such a Lord. And then he comes back to hear from Srila Vyasdev. So we see even Krishna is so merciful. Srila Goswami analyzes this pastime of Putana and he says that when Krishna saw Putana coming as a mother to feed milk to Lord, so Krishna remembered Yashoda Maya. And Krishna so much loves Yashoda Mai that because Putana gave remembrance of Yashoda Mai to Krishna, Krishna became inclined to deliver Putana. So in one way it was not Putana's qualification or disqualification, but it was Krishna's love for Yashoda Mai that impelled him to shower mercy to Putana. But in general we see Krishna follows the principle of Ye Yatha. He would just touch somebody and suddenly he would get a Krishna prem. He would become mad in Krishna prem. And then, it was difficult for him to stop chanting Hare Krishna. And he would go in ecstasy, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And when his wife would touch him, then she would also become mad in ecstasy. And like that, when other people would touch them, they would also become. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving mercy to villages after villages. Very soon they were getting this. There is one incident that how when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he saw a river in south. Remembering it to be Yamuna, he became mad in ecstasy and started running towards it. And finally he was drowned. And there is a fisherman who was having a net to catch a fish. He happened to caught hold of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body in the net. He thought maybe a very big fish I have caught. But when he took it out, it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body. So he thought, Arey, such a beautiful person. And then he happened to touch the body of the Lord. The moment he touched the body of the Lord, he became mad in ecstasy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He thought, something has happened to me. So he started running. And while running, he is chanting this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And on the other hand, the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are searching for Mahaprabhu, that where Mahaprabhu went. So this fisherman, when he was coming, mad in ecstasy, chanting the holy names of the Lord, so the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they encountered him and they asked, do you know where is Mahaprabhu? Did you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And he was mad in ecstasy, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So then the associates understood, maybe, Mahaprabhu is somewhere nearby. And then they went to a shore, and then they saw Mahaprabhu near the bank of the river. So we see that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way was giving so much mercy to all the jivas, and he was delivering jivas like this. But then much more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Nityananda Prabhu. When before Srila Prabhupada we see Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would generally have either Radha Krishna deity along with Gaurang Mahaprabhu, or he would have Gaur Gadadhar deities. But we see Srila Prabhupada, when he wanted to establish this movement, he kept Gaur Nitai both. Sometimes in ISKCON temples you will find there is Radha Krishna deity plus Jagannath Baldev Subhadra deity, but Gaur Nitai will be there. Or sometime in place of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra they may have Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, but Gaur Nitai will be there. Or sometimes they may not have only, neither Jagannath Baldev Subhadra or Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. They may have only Radha Krishna, but they will also have Gaur Nitai. You will not find any ISKCON temple where you don't have Gaur Nitai deity. You will not find any ISKCON center also not having Gaur Nitai deity. Because Prabhupada knew that the people in Kali Yuga are so fallen, they need Nityananda Prabhu. Without his mercy, they have no hope. So when Prabhupada started preaching in the West in New York, and so initially when Prabhupada he was going and was sitting in the Tomskin Park doing kirtan, and some got attracted to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada started 3 days in a week, 3 classes. So, and then Prabhupada started some Harinam. So when that Harinam was going, so that time Howard, he was surprised, what is this new thing? So he inquired, and then he was introduced. And then he came to one of the class of Srila Prabhupada. So he liked. Then Howard had 2 more friends, Keith and one more. So these 3 before had visited India with a desire to meet a bona fide guru. And they toured India, but they could not get a satisfying bona fide guru. So they came back to America. So now the Howard is talking to Keith and one more of his friend. And Howard is telling them that this one Swami has come from India, and he seems to be very special. He has a very big message which he wants to deliver, and he has a genuine desire to help everyone. So the Keith is asking, but we are so fallen. Very exalted person is required who can deliver us. And then Howard says, no, this Swami is very bona fide. He is very special. So then Keith says, okay, let us go and test him, how advanced he is, because we are so fallen, only very advanced person can help us. So these 3, they come to Srila Prabhupada's class in 22nd Avenue. Now hearing the talk by Srila Prabhupada, they were very impressed, because Prabhupada's talk was very logical, that how without Krishna we can't be happy, and we being a soul, we have to surrender to the Lord. So they were very impressed. So then they, after hearing few classes, they got a desire, we should do something for Swami. Naturally, they wanted to serve. So then they thought we can decorate this 22nd Avenue Temple Hall. So next time they came early, and then they made a small asan for Prabhupada. They brought curtains to put on the doors and the windows. And when last time they had visited India in search of Guru, that time they had brought some paintings from India. So they thought, this is a good time to put these paintings in this hall, because Swamiji will like them. He is from India. So then they placed all those paintings which they brought from India. And then when Prabhupada entered the temple hall, he was so happy to see that how they have such a desire to serve. And they have made asana, they have made a nice temple hall. And then Prabhupada looked at the paintings. So when the first painting Prabhupada went and Prabhupada saw, so actually it was Hanumanji's painting. So Prabhupada was looking with a lot of prayers. And this Keith and Howard, they were surprised and they asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, whose painting is this? Is it a cat or monkey? And then Prabhupada says, you don't know, he is a pure devotee of Lord Ram, he is Hanuman. And then Prabhupada went to another painting, and Prabhupada was so surprised to see that painting. And Prabhupada said, how you got this painting? And then the Howard, he replies that Swamiji, these two are very famous in Kolkata. When we went to Kolkata, these two guys are very famous there. So we just brought the painting. Then Prabhupada said, you know who are they? Then they say, Swamiji, that we don't know. Then Prabhupada says, they are Gaur and Nitai. They are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. Then tears came in eyes of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, now because they have come to America, now preaching will happen in America. So Prabhupada had that connectivity with Gaur Nitai, and Prabhupada knew that without Nityananda shelter, especially conditioned soul as we are in the material world, it is very difficult for us to practice a spiritual life. We see that how मार खाए प्रेम दे दयाल तो नहीं है. You know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is merciful, but Nityananda Prabhu is much more merciful. You know, maar khaye prem de. He is taking the beating and still is wanting to give mercy. No other incarnation before we hear like this, that who is taking beating and still wanting to give mercy. When Madai, he attacked Nityananda Prabhu, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became ferocious. He became so angry that he invoked his Sudarshan Chakra, wanting to kill Madai. But Nityananda Prabhu caught hold of feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu says, Mahaprabhu, this is not the reason for your appearance. And if you want to kill in today's age, then you have to kill everyone, because everyone has these conditioning shortcomings. And it is a fact. In Kali Yuga, if you want to, if you have idealistic expectation from anyone that he should not have these shortcomings, then such a person does not exist. Because everyone has some shortcomings, everyone has some fault. That's how Kali Yuga is. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had Sudarshan Chakra to kill, and Nityananda Prabhu is catching the feet and stopping that, please don't do this, please don't do this. And then Mahaprabhu actually wanted to kill both Madai and Jagai. Then see, Nityananda Prabhu, he tells to Mahaprabhu that, Mahaprabhu, when Madai was attacking me again, that time the Jagai stopped him. The Jagai told him, Arey, what you are doing? Why are you hitting him like this? And then Mahaprabhu says, is it? Jagai, did you help him? Did you stop him? And Jagai says, yes. And then Mahaprabhu embraces Jagai, and first he gives mercy to Jagai. And then now Madai also wanted mercy. And then Mahaprabhu says, I will not give you mercy unless you ask forgiveness from Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu, when Madai falls at feet of Nityananda Prabhu tells to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, whatever good I have done, in reciprocation to that, you give mercy to Madai. That is how Nityananda Prabhu tells to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So actually, in our life, whatever little bit we are able to practice is because Nityananda Prabhu is forgiving us. Because Nityananda Prabhu is pleading on our behalf to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Krishna. Sometimes devotees they feel, Prabhuji, मेरा chanting अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है, Prabhuji, मेरा जो है consciousness ऐसा है, Prabhuji, मेरे साथ ये problem है. But actually forget to say that we are able to chant because of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. In Kali Yuga, it is not possible to chant the holy name of the Lord. In Kali Yuga, it is not possible to be with devotees. It is not possible to eat only prasadam. It is not possible to avoid and not break four regular principles. But to some extent, we are trying and we are doing by Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. And even while doing, so many mistakes we do, so many offenses we do. and so many shortcomings we have, but still we are allowed to continue because of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. We see that how Nityananda Prabhu is so merciful, and he is always wanting that how mercy can be given to all the devotees. That's how Nityananda Prabhu is. And his only desire is how to turn jivas at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's how Nityananda Prabhu is. So in this bhajan, very beautifully it is written. भज गौरंग सह गौरंग लह गौरंगेर नाम रे ये जन गौरंगा भजे से अमर प्राण रे. So what he's saying is, ye jana gauranga bhaje sai amara pranare. Anyone who chants the name of Gauranga, he is my life. Bhaja Gauranga, worship Gauranga, kaha Gauranga, speak Gauranga, laha Gauranga, chant Gauranga's name. And anyone who does so, he is my life and soul. That is the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. He just wanting all the jivas to connect to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is how his mood is. And we see, because Nityananda Prabhu, he is Adi Guru, and he is Sevaka Bhagavan. So Nityananda Prabhu, when he comes here, he took birth as son of Adai, Oja and Padmavati at Ek Chakra Dham, very beautiful place. So before Nityananda Prabhu, the whole place was deserted, and it was nothing was flourishing there. But when Nityananda Prabhu takes birth, the whole place becomes very auspicious and everything starts flourishing there. And Nityananda Prabhu, from his childhood, he was so absorbed in remembrance of the Lord that in his childhood, with other friends of him, he would enact the various pastimes of Lord Krishna. He was so absorbed in Krishna Lila. He would gather all the friends and then he would enact many pastimes of the Lord Krishna. So there are many pastimes which are mentioned in his childhood. He would remember those pastimes and then enact those pastimes. Kauna dina Nityananda setu bande kare vanera rupa sab shishu gane dhare. Sometime Nityananda Prabhu, he would enact this pastime of building a bridge across the ocean. So some boys, they would become monkeys to help in the process of making a bridge. And they would cut some branches or some, parts of the tree. And then they would put across the small river. And then they would make a bridge. And then they would cross. And then they would shout, Jai Raghunath. Like this. And sometimes, Sri Lakshmana Rupa Prabhu Dhariya Apane Dhanu Dhari Kope Chale Sugrive Rasthane. And sometimes Nityananda Prabhu will accept the role of Lakshman, who angrily went with a bow in his hand to chastise Sugriva. So Nityananda Prabhu jo hai, sometimes he would accept the role of Lakshman. So we know this pastime that how when Lord Ram saw Sugriva is not coming back to help him to find Mother Sita. So Lord Ram tells to Lakshman that, Lakshman, what happened to Sugriva? 4 months of Chaturmas are over, still he is not coming here. So you can go and remind him that the path by which Bali he went, that is still open. And Lakshman becomes so angry and he says, Bhaiya, what to say of telling him? I will send him only through that path. And Ram says, no, you just go and bring him here. So Lakshman goes angrily and then shakes Sugriva and brings him to the service of Lord Ram. Actually, that is the duty, because Nityananda Prabhu, Lakshman, Balram, they represent Guru Tattva. They are Adi Guru. So sometimes a disciple or a devotee becomes absorbed in Maya. So it is the duty of the spiritual master to shake the disciple and bring him back to the service of Lord Ram. Right. So Lakshman goes and chastises Sugriva and brings him to the service of Lord Ram. So like that, Lakshman tells, my lord is in distress. Come quickly or I will kill you. How can you sit here enjoying with woman while he is lamenting on Malyavan hill mountain? So like that, Nityananda in the mood of Lakshman, he is speaking. Another day he would speak in anger to Pashuram. Oh Brahmana, I am not at fault. Leave here at once. Like this. So like that, he was absorbed. So when Nityananda would enact the role of Lakshman, he would totally take that mood of Lakshman because he himself is Lakshman. But the other boys, they would not understand that Nityananda is not different from Lakshman and he actually behaving like Lakshman. They would take it as a game. So on another occasion, 5 boys they took role of monkeys and the Lord took role of Lakshman. And who are you monkeys wandering the forest? I am servant of Ramchandra. Tell me who you are. So Lakshman goes and he's approaching these monkeys. That who are you? And these monkeys they say, oh, actually we are wandering in the forest because of fear of Vali. Now please take us to Ramchandra. We want to take his shelter. And then Lakshman will bring all these monkeys to the lotus feet of Ramchandra. So another boy becomes Lord Ram. And then these boys who are playing the role of monkeys, they come and they fall at feet of Lord Ram. Another day, he enacted the pastime of killing Indrajit, the son of Ravana. And then one time they played this role of where someone became Vibhishan who came to take shelter of Lord Ramchandra. And then Lord Ram accepted him and coronated him as the king of Lanka. And then once कौन शिशु बोले मुनि आइलनु रावण शक्ति से लहानि ए समवन Lakshmana. One boy said, oh, I am mighty Ravana. Now I am releasing the Shakti Sela weapon. Stop it if you can, Lakshman. So one boy said, oh, I am a mighty Ravana and I am releasing a Shakti Sela weapon at Lakshman. Then he takes a flower and he throws at Nityananda, who is playing the role of Lakshman. But Nityananda is so much in the mood of Lakshman that he falls to the ground and he becomes unconscious. Seeing him falling to the ground and becoming unconscious, all the boys, they become suddenly surprised. And they were taken back in grief. What happened to him? And they all start crying that, what happened to him? There are no signs of life. And then the father and the mother of Nityananda, they come and they see that there are no signs of life in their son. Then they also cry and they also fall unconscious. So everyone was struck with this tragedy and everyone was surprised how this happened suddenly. So like this, all the village people, they gathered around that how suddenly this happened and Nityananda is not having life. So then one of the person, he asked that, so he asked what was happening because he saw one boy dressed as Hanuman. So then all the boys, they tell him that this is how Nityananda had told us that when I fall unconscious, you should all gather around me and cry. And then after a while, Hanuman should go for taking medicine and I will recover when he puts the medicine to my nose. So like that, they were reminded now by that person. So when the Lord fell unconscious, all the boys somehow became so bewildered, they forgot what to do next. So because they were confused, so they could not remember the Lord's instruction. They simply cried, oh brother, please get up. But when the boy heard people comments, they remembered Nityananda's instruction. So the boy who was dressed as Hanuman, he immediately went for bringing medicine. And another boy dressed as a renunciate welcomed Hanuman with fruits and roots. He said to Hanuman, "My dear sir, please stay and grace my ashram. It is a great fortune to meet such a person as you." Hanuman said, "I must go and complete my important mission. I would like to come, but I cannot delay. You must have heard that Lakshman, the younger brother of Ram, has been rendered unconscious by the Sakti Sela weapon of Ravan. Therefore, I am going to Gandhamadhan hill to bring medicine. Only then will he survive." The renunciate then said, "If you must go, first take a bath and eat something. Then you may go." The two boys repeated whatever Nityananda had instructed them. Therefore, everyone gazed at them in astonishment as they listened to their conversation. So everyone was so surprised how they know so many details. Then, on the request of the renunciate, Hanuman went to take bath in the lake, whereupon another boy in the lake grabbed hold of his feet. The boy, playing the role of a crocodile, tried to pull Hanuman into the water. But Hanuman pulled the boy to the shore. After a short fight, Hanuman defeated the crocodile. When Hanuman returned to the renunciate ashram, he saw a mighty warrior. A boy dressed as a Rakshasa then attempted to swallow Hanuman. He challenged, "You have defeated the crocodile, but how will you defeat me? I will eat you, then who will revive Lakshman?" Hanuman said, "Your Ravana is a dog. I consider him most insignificant. Get out of my way." In this way, the two first exchanged some harsh words. Then they began pulling each other's hair, and finally they began striking each other with their fist. After promptly defeating the demon, Hanuman approached the Gandhamadhan hill. There Hanuman fought with some boys who were dressed as Gandharvas. After defeating the Gandharvas, Hanuman took the Gandhamadhan hill on his head to Lanka. Another boy, playing the role of a doctor, remembered Lord Ram to be held the medicine to Lakshman's nose. At that very moment, Nityananda Prabhu gained consciousness, and everyone smiled in relief. Hadai Pandit embraced his son, and all the boys became overjoyed. So now they were amazed that, "Dear son, where have you learned all this?" Then the Lord smiled that, "These are my pastimes." So all the people, they thought, maybe as a small boy, he's just kidding. But actually, Lord is meaning that these are my pastimes. So like that, we see Nityananda Prabhu, he was playing so many pastimes, enacting so many pastimes of Krishna along with all his friends. And he himself would go into those roles as Lakshman, as Balram, like this. And after that, we see that how one sannyasi comes to the house of Hadai Oja and Padmavati. And he requests that, "I need a traveling partner." And then he requests that, "Please give Nityananda Prabhu." So it was so painful for Hadai Oja and Padmavati, because for them Nityananda Prabhu was their life and soul. But now because sannyasi is asking, so they can't say no. It was as if Vishwamitra Muni asking Lord Ram from Dasharath. So they could not deny, so they had to give. So then Nityananda Prabhu was there with the sannyasi for some time, and after that he got opportunity to, he traveled with the sannyasi also to many places, and then after that also he continued traveling to various holy places. So you'll be surprised how many holy places he went. He went to Vakareshwar, then he went alone to Vaidyanath. There are so many holy places in India. When we read this account of Nityananda Prabhu visiting so many holy places, then we come to know. So Lord went to Gaya, so he is in Bihar, and then he came to Kasi, Varanasi, then he came to, he took bath in Ganges, then he came to Prayag in the Magh Mela time, then he came to Vrindavan, to Bihar, then UP, now he's in Vrindavan. He sported in the Yamuna river. He traveled all the 12 forests of Vrindavan. He went to courtyard of Nand Maharaj at Gokul. And then he paid obeisances to Madan Gopal. So when Advaitacharya was there in Vrindavan, we see near Madan Mohan temple in Vrindavan, there is a Advaita Bhatt. So Advaitacharya got a dream from the Lord that I am below this tree. So then Advaitacharya brought the deity out, and that deity name was Madan Gopal. So when Nityananda went, that time he saw this deity, which was discovered by Advaitacharya, and the deity was kept near Advaita Bhatt. And later on, we see that how Advaitacharya gives the deity to Purushottam Chaube. Purushottam Chaube gives to Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami makes a nice temple of Madan Mohan. And then later on, the deity comes to Jaipur, and from Jaipur to Karoli. This is the same deity which Nityananda saw. And anyone who would see Nityananda, they would hanker for his association, they would cry in his separation. So now from Vrindavan, Nityananda comes to Delhi. Near Delhi, there is a place Hastinapur. So there he comes. And then Nityananda from there, now he goes to Dwarka. He takes bath in the ocean. Then he went to Siddhapur, the place of Lord Kapila. Then he went to Matsya Tirtha, where he distributed food stuff at the festival. Then he visited Shiv Kanchi, this is Kanchipuram. So when Nityananda saw that the devotees of Shiva and the devotees of Lord Vishnu, they both are fighting. So he was laughing by seeing this. Like that. Then he visited Kurukshetra, Prududak, Bindu Sarovar, Prabhas, Sudarshan Tirtha. Then he also visited Tirtha Kupa. He also went to Vishala, Brahma Tirth, Chakra Tirth. Lord also visited Pratishrota, where Saraswati river flows in the opposite direction. The most magnanimous Nityananda then went to Naimisharanya. So he came to now Naimisharanya. Then he visited Ayodhya, the birthplace of Lord Ram. Then he visited Goha's kingdom. Then he remembered the activities of Goha. Nityananda almost lost his consciousness because he is Lakshman himself. And then he took bath in Saryu and Kausaki rivers. Then he went to the ashram Pulastya Rishi. So this is 500 years before also these ashrams and these holy places were there. So they are there now also. Then he took bath in Gomati, Gandaki, Sona river. Then he climbed to the top of Mahindra mountain. Then he offered obeisances to Pashuram. Nityananda also visited Haridwar, the source of Ganges. Then he took bath in Pampa, Himarathi, Godavari, Venva, and Vipasa rivers. After seeing Kartikeya at Madurai, now he came to south. The above rivers also are in south. So he took darshan of Kartikeya at Madurai. He also went to Sri Shela, the abode of Shiva and Parvati. So when Nityananda went to Sri Shela, Shiva and Parvati, they personally welcomed the Lord. They were happy to have association of Lord Nityananda. And then he visited Venkatanath, that is Tirupati, then Kamakosti Puri, then Kachi, then Kaveri, the best of river. Then he visited Ranganath, Srirangam, then he went to Harishetra. Then he visited Rishabha mountain, then Madurai, Kirtamala, Tamarpani, Uttar Yamuna rivers. They all are in south. Then he visited ashram of Agastya Rishi in the Malaya hills. The residents there were all jubilant to see the Lord. Nityananda stayed as a guest in their ashram and then departed in great ecstasy for Badrika ashram. Now he went to Badrika ashram. And then he actually met Srila Vyasdev also there. Srila Vyasdev recognized Nityananda as Balaram. They had conversation. Then Nityananda came to Kanyakumari. Then there he saw Durga deity there. Then he went to Anantapur. Then he went to Panchapsara Kund. Then he visited the temple of Shiva known as Gokarna. Then he visited Kerala. Then he visited goddess Parvati. And then he visited Nirvindhya, Payoshani and Tapti river. Then he went to city of Mahismati. on the bank of Reva river. Then he saw Malla Tirtha, and Lord then passed through the holy district of Suprakaka on the west. Like that, you will find so many places. Nityananda Prabhu is traveling, and is in great ecstasy. So traveling like this, finally Nityananda Prabhu meets Madhendra Puri. Hey Matta Nityananda Prabhura Brahmana Deve Madhendra Saha Haila Darshana. So traveling like this, finally he meets Madhendra Puri. And they were such a great devotees of the Lord, because Madhendra Puri, he is a seed of ecstatic love for the Lord. And from that seed, the tree which came is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the two main branches of that tree is Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya. So when he saw Madhendra Puri, they were so overwhelmed by the ecstatic symptoms that they both fell on the ground unconscious. So all the followers, the disciples of Madhendra Puri, they were surprised that there are no signs of life. Both are unconscious on the ground. So they were falling like this. The disciples, headed by the E.A.S.Y Puri, they began to cry, seeing the spiritual master unconscious and Nityananda unconscious. Then after some time, they regained their consciousness, and then they held each other's neck and began to cry. Overwhelmed in ecstatic love for Krishna, then they rolled in the sand and cried out loudly. Tears of love flowed like rivers from their eyes and soaked Mother Earth, thereby making her feel gratified. So like that, their meeting is going on. Then this is a beautiful verse. Nityananda bole yata tirtha karila samyak tahara pal aji paila. So we see Nityananda went to so many holy places, and he is saying, today the fruit of traveling to all the holy places I have achieved, that is the association of Madhendra Puri. So the traveling to the all holy places, the fruit of that is when we meet a pure devotee of the Lord, when we get a great Vaishnava association. And he says that my life has become successful by seeing Madhendra Puri. And Madhendra Puri embraced Nityananda and was unable to reply. His throat was choked with love. Madhendra Puri was so pleased that he was unable to release Nityananda from his embrace. E.A.S.Y Puri, Brahmananda Puri, and other disciples of Madhendra Puri all felt great attachment for Lord Nityananda. So for some days now, Nityananda remained with Madhendra Puri, traveling with Madhendra Puri, discussing topics of Krishna with Madhendra Puri. And you see how much Madhendra Puri had devotion for the Lord. It is mentioned that just by seeing a dark cloud, he would so much remember Krishna that he would fall unconscious on the ground. That was the level of devotion which Madhendra Puri had. And day and night he would cry for Krishna, saying, "Hi, hi," like a drunkard. So, and Madhendra Puri's disciple also would chant day and night the holy names of the Lord. He was so absorbed in Krishna. And Madhendra Puri became so attached to Nityananda Prabhu, was not able to give association of Nityananda Prabhu. He constantly remained with him. And then, now there are 2-3 verses, they are very beautiful. Madhendra bole prema na dekhilu ko tha, sei mora sarvati tahena prema yatha. So Madhendra Puri says, I have never seen such ecstatic love. He is referring to Nityananda Prabhu. Wherever such love of God is found, that is my favorite holy place. Meaning, he is saying, wherever is Nityananda Prabhu, that is my favorite holy place. Janinu Krishnera kripa ache mora priti Nityananda hena bandhu painu samhati. I know Krishna has bestowed his mercy on me because he has given me association of Nityananda. So actually, Nityananda Prabhu is the Adi Guru, is a Guru Tattva, represents Guru. So here what Madhavendra is saying is that I can see that Krishna has given me mercy. Why? Because he has given me association of Nityananda. So Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. So actually meeting a pure devotee of the Lord, meeting a spiritual master, meeting the devotees of the Lord is mercy of the Lord. That's what here we see. And then he says, ये थे स्थाने यदि नित्यानंद संगहय से स्थाने सर्वतीत वैकुंठादिमय. Wherever Nityananda association is available, that place is most sacred and completely transcendental. So wherever we have association of great souls, that place is most sacred and completely transcendental. And we see how fortunate we are that Srila Prabhupada in his temples has deities of Nityanand Prabhu. And in Prabhupada temples, so many senior devotees they visit and so many devotees they stay. So we get so much association and those places they become so blessed. And then he says, Nityananda hena bhakta sunile sravane avasya paibe Krishna Chandra se jane. If one hears also the name of Nityananda, he will surely get the lotus feet of Lord of Krishna Chandra. That is the beauty of Nityananda. Nityananda yatharat tile ke dve se rahe bhakta haile o se Krishna priya nahi. Now this is very important. He is saying, if one has even a slight envy for Nityananda, he is never favored by Krishna, even if he appears to be a devotee. So in our life also, if you have a slight envy or neglect or rebellion or hatred or whatever for our spiritual master, for the devotees of the Lord who are representing Nityananda Prabhu, then although externally we may do sadhana, we may show ourselves as a devotee, but we will never be favored by Krishna. We see that there are two kinds of devotees. There may be one kind of a devotee who, because of their previous life, they have certain punya, so they can sit very nicely, they can chant. At least externally, it appears that they are chanting without sleeping, and they can remember the verses also. And they may feel that, see, I am so good a devotee. I can get up early in the morning, I can attend morning program, I can recite the verses, I can chant nicely. But if they are not submissive to the devotees, if they are not following devotees of the Lord, you will find after some time they have serious issues in their spiritual life. On the other hand, there may be a devotee who is struggling, but he has a sincere, submissive heart, humble heart to follow. You will find he will be able to cross over all his struggles and he will make much more advancement in his spiritual life. We have to know Yatsya Prasada Bhagavad Prasado, that is the foundational principle for bhakti. So if we want mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we need to please Nityananda Prabhu. And we have to know that how Nityananda Prabhu and the gurus who are representing Nityananda Prabhu, they are very special. And even if they chastise, even if they correct, that is for my betterment. And we should see that chastisement, we should see that correction also coming from the Lord. Because devotee correcting is very special, is not normal. We have to see that also as mercy of Krishna. Here it is mentioned, if somebody otherwise has envy or not so respectful feelings for Nityananda Prabhu and the spiritual masters, then he will never be favored by Krishna, even if he appears to be a devotee. So like that it continues. And there are many chapters in Chaitanya Bhagavat where Vrindavan Das Thakur talks about the glories of Nityananda Prabhu. And we are very fortunate. We can read Chaitanya Bhagavat today and we can meditate on the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. We can also pray to Nityananda Prabhu because of his appeal to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because of his compassion, because of his forgiving our anarthas. Somehow or other, we are chanting holy names of the Lord. We are getting this opportunity to be with devotees of the Lord. And we can, in this way, try to take advantage of this day, that is Nityananda Prabhu's appearance. हरे कृष्णा। तो टुडे बहुत अच्छा दिन है। एक डिवोटी थे, उनसे मैं थोड़ा नाराज था। आई हैड टोल्ड हिम दैट आई एम नॉट हैप्पी विथ यू, सो आई विल कीप सम डिस्टेंस विथ यू फॉर सम डे। तो डिवोटी आज मेरे पास आए मंगल आरती के टाइम पे, तो बोले प्रभु जी आपसे बात करना है। बोला क्या बात करना है? तो प्रभु जी आज तो नित्यानंद चतुर्दशी, आज माफ कर दीजिए। बोला अरे आपने सही दिन पकड़ लिया। चलो ठीक है, आज तो कुछ बोल नहीं सकते, आज तो माफी करना पड़ेगा।